So, Sky Monkey, if you can, just give us a brief introduction about yourself, the
Sure.
theme, and how you guys came up with the name Mind Token. Why you guys feel it best suits or represents your token. That'll be nice.
Okay. All right. I'm just writing the second part down there. So yeah, my name is Ed Curvan. I live in Parksville, British Columbia. That's on the west coast of Canada, if you don't know. We live in a beautiful place, and I'm by career, I'm a horticulturalist. I've owned a landscaping company for 22 years. My partner Stefan, there he is. He just showed up. I'll let him
Yeah,
give his own
sorry.
intro. So yeah, I just started without you. No big deal.
No worries.
Um,
I figured you would.
But yeah, so I'm a horticulturalist in Western Canada. I've been in crypto since 2017. And previous to that, I was really heavily into the torrenting community and peer-to-peer file sharing. I've been in peer-to-peer since it existed, in the days of WinMX and so on. And so I've been along for the evolution of the space. As far as I'm concerned, file sharing and Bitcoin is just file sharing with money. But at any rate, yeah, so Stefan and I created our corporation, Mental Services Inc., about a year ago, and we set up multiple meetings and a partnership agreement with the global wellness company Lifeworks. And you were asking about our name, and it's actually kind of interesting because when we first started off, I've got some background noise here from somebody.
Oh, that's me.
When we first started off, we were trying to come up with a name that would be appealing to the crypto community. And what we originally came up with was mental. And, it was kind of a hype name, but it didn't really suit the theme of our token, given that we're, so closely tied to mental health and wellness. We thought mental maybe had some bad connotations. And so ironically, we were talking with Rod Ezekiel, who's one of the bosses at Lifeworks. And he suggested, I think it was mindful or something along those lines, but he came up with the concept of mind, and we just shortened it to straight to mind, and we ran with that. And we thought it was really good because it didn't have any negative connotations. In mental health, you have to be careful about, um, some people who've dealt with mental health thrive on dark humor and others don't, and we didn't want to alienate anybody. And given that Lifeworks liked the idea of us being named Mind, they're a massive corporation and we want them to love us. We went with it. We thought it was a good fit. But I'll let Stefan introduce himself.
Yeah, no, it was what last November we incorporated, and it was about a year and just over a year ago, a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, Ed got me into crypto, or let me started explaining it to me, because I've been bugging him for probably about 4 years previous. And I came up. We sat down, and the idea came up because I'd been talking to him about my divorce that I was going through at the time, and I was using Lifeworks and their counseling services to kind of go through the steps in the process of me taking that step and leaving. And from that point on, we kind of both of us agreed that this was something that everybody needs access to, not just me working in a corporate situation, right? Ed needed access, his wife should have access, everybody should have access. And crypto was a space that didn't have anybody offering these services, so there was no access. So it was just a no-brainer to bring this to crypto.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I
can just run with it if you want.
Yeah, you can go. I
So
like talking to birds.
So, I mean, I guess where we should head next then would be explaining what Lifeworks is. Lifeworks is a massive corporation. They're 56 years old. They're publicly traded. And what they offer are employee assistant packages as well as pension plans to major corporations. And so they have 15,000 corporate clients. And we're talking about groups like HP, Nike, Aviva, big brands, Disney. And they service over 60 countries with their gold package, and they serve over 26 million clients. And so, we were really honored that they were not only willing to discuss with us, but they got behind us and really liked what we were doing. And so we signed a contract with them that we would be able to bring their services to crypto through our staking system. It took quite a few meetings with Lifeworks to come up with a way that we could bring these services to crypto without any sort of breach of their fundamentals or breach of our contract. And so through a lot of discussion, we came to multiple solutions as to how we could bring something so real to the crypto market. So we're really happy with that. You know, we're a fully registered corporation, we're able to do things outside of the crypto space as well. And so, you know, there's many ways that we can branch out from where we start here. But essentially what we've done is we've created a staking system whereby users who buy MiND token are able to stake in one of our pools, and they'll get some set APYs for being in the pools, but they also receive access to the Lifeworks utility, as well as down the line early access to some of our public NFT mints and so on. The other cool thing with our staking system, and one of the things that really I think makes us strong, is that we're offering our staking systems to other projects. And so another project is able to come on board with us. They're able to access our staking services for a fraction of what it would cost them to develop it themselves. And then their users are able to stake for that project's token, and that project will provide the staking pool for the APYs, but they'll have the Lifeworks utility, you know, as well for staking. So right now we've got Izanagi and Snafu as our first partners, which, you know, before launch is a pretty amazing accomplishment in my eyes. We've got several others in the wings who are seriously considering jumping on board with us. And so Izanagi and Snafu, again, they'll be able to set their own APY pools. They can choose between a 1, 3, 6, 9, and 12-month pool. They can have one of them or all of them. And again, they set their APYs, and people in their communities will be able to stake for their tokens and receive that Lifeworks utility. And so, you know, partnering, this is what makes our project so scalable, is that we have massive cross-networking potentials, and we have the ability to bring something to the space for communities that we really believe is missing from the crypto sphere, if you will. So,
Absolutely. Well said.
Okay,
okay.
very cool. Can you touch us more? I know you touched a bit about it. Can you talk a little bit more about what MiND token is, and you know, what was the motive behind the token and all its utilities?
Okay, well, what MiND token is it's a way that the crypto community, and hopefully later on beyond the crypto community, can access these employee assistance programs at really reasonable rates. And so, for example, you know, we've kept our system set up so that, you know, the whales have something to do and be excited about, but that the average user and people who don't have massive financial power can still access our systems. And so our lowest staking value is a $50 market value stake. And what that means is that for $50 investment, you can stake on our 1 month pool. And during that time, you can call a general practitioner, a doctor, up to 5 times in a month. You can talk to you can talk to a therapist, including master's accredited psychologists. You can talk to a fitness expert and create custom workout plans through a fitness app. You can talk to a financial expert, and they can give you advice on managing your portfolios or help you with, you know, issues that you may be having in that regard. You can talk to a lawyer and get legal advice. You can also get referrals for telemedicine stuff in the United States, as well as for legal stuff in over 60 countries. And so on launch, what we've done is Stefan and I have created the corporation, and we've done pretty well everything up until this point, until we opened our Telegram out of pocket. And so right now, the full gold package at Lifeworks is available to our users in Canada, the United States, and the United Kingdom. That said, there are 60 countries where that gold package can be added to over time. And being that we're a corporation, we can also access other providers if we feel there's a gap in the market. That said, the mental health services are on a global level. So it doesn't matter where in the world you are. If you have an internet connection and you can buy crypto and stake it, then you can access the mental health services. And so we think it's a really unique system that offers a very, very real utility. And for perspective, to understand the value of what we're offering, you know, a private telemedicine service will charge you upwards of $170, $180 US for one doctor call. A UK therapy service will charge you up to 280 British pounds for 4 sessions in a month. Comparable Canadian service is around 350 Canadian. And so when, and these aren't complete services like Lifeworks offers. And so, like I say, for a $50 investment, you stake for a month, you get 25% APY on your $50. At the end of that, if the market's gone up, you can leave with a gain. Rewards are claimable at any time. And you get all of these services for that time period. And it's not just you, it's also your immediate family. So your spouse and your children can also access these services. So simply from a market value perspective, what we're offering is of huge value. So how we work, and it's quite similar to how Lifeworks works. I mentioned that they have 15,000 corporate clients and 26 million users. And so what Lifeworks does is they collect fees on those 26 million users. And that enables them to be able to offer this broad range of services to all of their clients. Because the reality is you might have 10 or 20% who are consistently using a service like that. And the rest of the people is there if they need it. It's kind of like it's not insurance, but it's a similar financial setup as insurance. And MiND Token is working much the same. And so we have a $5 per month staking fee on our pools. And, we're aware that, maybe 20% of those people are actually going to use the service, and the staking fee from, the rest of the users helps cover those overheads. And so, there's multiple good reasons to be in a project like that, because not only can you make your APYs, but you're also helping out. And for people who I think, could really use the help. And especially right now, the world is a pretty unsettled place. We've got political strife, and we've got wars, and we've got pandemics, and there's fear in the markets, and people are scared of the housing market and the stock markets and the crypto markets, and there's a lot of anxiety in the world. So as much as I'd love to launch this into a bull market, the reality is that our utility is really important right now. And so we're pushing forward regardless of the market. We did delay a little bit because we didn't want to launch the project while everything was tanking like that. But we only need a little bit of stability to take off. It's not a requirement that we're on the way up. We just want some stability so that we don't take a massive hit on our liquidity just because of what the market does the day we launch. Yeah.
Well said.
Okay, that's cool. That's very cool. So can you just, I know you've touched a bit. Can you talk more about, how the utilities the MiND token possess, and if you can tell us the motivating factor behind, all these utilities, the motivating factor behind this project as a whole, that would be nice.
Okay. I'm gonna share screen inside of the Lifeworks app, because I think it really lets people see what we're saying here. So this is our feed inside of the Lifeworks app. You can see up here mindtokens.lifeworks.com, and I like to show people this because it shows that we're inside their app. This is your average user can't see this. This is the landing page for Lifeworks here, right? You can see Home Depot, Walgreens, and so on. But you can't access these services unless you work for a massive corporation like Walgreens or Bell. But through us, you can. And so this is our feed inside of the app, and you can see we've got a little bit of mention on our live feed about our partner Snafu and about our partners Izanagi. But the big thing is that front and center on just about every page is this Get Care Now button. And within that, you have two ways that you can talk to an onboarding agent instantly. One is through an IRC style chat, and then the other is through a 1-800 number, and that 1-800 number is different per region. And so from there, within a few minutes, you can be talking to a general practitioner, you can be talking to a therapist, you can have an appointment set to speak to a financial advisor or to a lawyer. And the cool thing about that is that, even if you don't proceed with your legal case with that lawyer, it often comes with a significant referral discount to a lawyer in your area, because Lifeworks has a massive network of subsidiaries and kind of sub companies that offer everything from PTSD help to addiction help and so on and so on. But inside of here, you've got a myriad of assessment tools. So basically how that works is you go through an assessment process and it asks you a whole bunch of different questions, and it looks for, their algorithm looks for ways that it can direct you to services within their system that are appropriate for what you're dealing with at the time. And so I think that's really neat. And it also works you up through some perks that we'll get to in a minute. But you can see here we have the Lifeworks Telemedicine there. I'm not going to click on it, but again, within 5 or 10 minutes, you can be talking to a general practitioner, and they can give you diagnosis for basic maladies. I mean, obviously, if you've got a broken limb, you're not going to telemedicine. But, you know, if you've got a chest infection or, you know, some sort of rash or, you know, just basic maladies, you know, they can help diagnose those over a Microsoft Teams conference call. And from there, they can write prescriptions. They can give you specialist referrals. If you're in a place like the United States that doesn't have socialized medicine like Canada and the UK does, they can refer you to a general practitioner in your area. And again, if they're working through the Lifeworks system, that comes with a referral discount. And so just having that point of contact can actually save you a significant amount of money in the long run.
That's great. In the 3 countries we offer telemedicine in, that's the Canada, the UK,
for now.
and the States for now.
For now, yeah. And then we have the Lift Fitness app. Again, I'm not going to bother clicking on it, but what it does is it's got, you know, different tools in it, like heart rate monitors and a pedometer to count your steps and so on and so on. But the cool thing is that you can make an appointment with a fitness expert, and they will help you create a custom workout that is integrated into the Lift app. And so that's a pretty cool and unique utility. Then the other thing that we've got going on here, I mentioned the assessment tools, and how when you work through the assessment tools, the algorithm will point you to areas in the system where their system feels that you know you could probably use some help. It gives you direction within their system, but it also works you through a tiering system: bronze, silver, and gold. And through that tiering system, it gives you access to discounts from these big name brands. And so the only people who are allowed to advertise within the Lifeworks app are partners with Lifework. And so all of these companies that you see on your screen right now, they either have employment assistance packages for their employees, and or they have Lifeworks managing their pension plans. And you can see there's some pretty serious companies in here. We got HP and Chestplate and Rogers and Avis and on and on. And like I say, there's some pretty significant discounts in here. So that's pretty neat stuff as well. We'd love to find a way to get MiND tokens snuggled in here between, I don't know, HP and Reebok or something cool. But anyway, I just like to show people the inside of the app so that they can see just how for real this stuff is. I'm going to stop the screen share now because sometimes it lags out AMAs. So yeah, I think there was a second part of your question though, Carter. Did I miss it?
So I was asking, what was the motivating factor behind, you know, behind MiND token?
You want to run with that one, Stefan? You're good at that one.
The motivating factor for Lifeworks to even come to be was I touched on it in the beginning, but back a year ago, 2 years ago now, this October, I chose to separate from my ex-wife with my children and have them as much as possible, which was, in my eyes, I've been trying to get them full custody for about a year and a half now. Well, since I left. But during that time, I used Lifeworks and spoke to counselors before I left. I spoke to counselors for about it was easily a month and a half after I left, and all through utilizing the Lifeworks system, because my other job is through Cermak. It's a fish farm company, and they have this as one of our employee assistance they have the employee assistance program offered to us for free. So I have access to it, but while I was going through all this, and Ed and I being close friends, it kind of came to light that not everybody had access to this. So between him and I, we started the corporation. I contacted Lifeworks, set us up with meetings, and we started to create ways that we could give these services out to people, and still afford to pay for them while not charging for them, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, I mean, for me, it's, you know, I had some pretty chaotic times growing up, and you know, at about 24 years old, I quit using drugs and partying, and I did a couple of years of group therapies, and I did quite a lot of private therapies as well. And this is long before, you know, crypto existed. But you know, so it's just kind of on brand for me. You know, part of you know, recovery, and part of, you know, healing yourself from past traumas is giving back. You know, it's a big part of a lot of the programs out there that, you know, if you're out in the community and you're giving back what's been given to you, then you're far more likely to succeed. And so for me, it's just, you know, and in my business as well, you know, I own a landscaping company, and so, you know, we get some of the more rough around the edges employees, and you know, I tend to hire them unless they've got a career you know, a history of crime. I can't take them on then, because of course my clients trust me with their possessions. I get to know their habits and things like that. But you know, I like bringing some of these young guys on, and mentoring them a bit. And you know, it hasn't always been a success, but I've tried, and hopefully, you know, I can plant a seed in one of those that grows into something awesome. So yeah, I guess the short and long of it is something like this is just on brand for me. I'm a do-gooder by nature. I can't help it.
Okay, that's really cool. Another question that just pop up from my mind. I just wanted to know, does one has to be a holder before they can, you know, kind before they can, you know, enjoy some of these utilities that you guys have in store? Does one necessarily have to be an holder first?
Well, you know, for starters, as I mentioned earlier, we kept our cost to entry really low, right? So you're looking at a $50 market value buy and a $5 staking fee to access a general practitioner and therapy and lawyers, et cetera, for a month. So the value is really strong. That said, you know, Stefan and I said from the start that if somebody's in crisis, we're going to help them. And that stands now. I mean, our project hasn't launched now, and right now you can send Stefan a DM with an email address. You don't have to tell any stories or tell us about your situation, and we'll onboard you for a month onto Lifeworks and get you the help that you need. And so, you know, it's just one of those things where we're not going to turn anybody away unless we feel like they're trying to game us or take advantage of us. Because the reality is that most people who can afford the service and want the service are going to purchase tokens and stake in the pool. They're not going to game us on something so serious like this. And so we have our little slush fund of subscriptions that we give out, like on you know, we allowed Todd Hart's Eyes on Crypto. He has a weekly podcast, and he gives out a subscription on every one. And you know, it's a great way to show the community at large that what we're offering is real. It also helps somebody in crisis, and it's, you know, frankly, it's good promotion for us as well. And
it's
so
all around good.
it's all around positive. Yeah.
And I guess the thing that we need to explain as well is, yes, there's a $50 minimum stake, but you're buying $50 worth of tokens, staking them, and you're also getting an APY of 50% for that month. So
it's 25 on the 1 month. Yeah.
So as our token goes up, which I'm really hoping that we're not going to go down. I think I see it's only going up. At the end of that month,
Careful.
essentially, you'll have more money than you staked, regardless. In tokens.
You can't say it's only going up, or the SEC will label
No.
you a security and they'll drive us into the dirt.
No, I said I can only hope it will go up.
Yeah, but I mean, on that note, you know, I mean, we're launching through DGEM Launchpad. We had the guys from DGEM went over our initial tokenomics and basically exploded everything. What they did is they went over our operations taxes, they went over our liquidity pairing and all of our tokenomics, with the interest of making sure that we were sustainable from a marketing perspective, that we have a decent post-launch marketing budget, that our staking systems are sustainable in the long run. It was basically a tokenomics audit that they did, because, and I agree with them, pre-sale math is directly related to how well a token performs. And so, yeah, we went through great effort to make sure that we were survivable, that no matter what happens, we're able to move forward. Because, the thing to understand with a project like ours is that, this isn't a meme farm. This isn't a food staking farm. People's well-being are tied to what we're doing. If we get people who are using the services and then for whatever reason MiND token doesn't make it, we don't want people left in the lurch. That said, the subscriptions are paid for. They carry on until their terms run out regardless. But it's still, it's something we take really, really seriously, because the last thing we want is for what we're doing that's supposed to be helping people to do the opposite and cause damage. And so we've been really, really careful with how we spend money and how we approach everything. I mean, as I say, we spent almost a year working on this before we opened social media. We had a full-fledged corporation built. We had a Coinbase corporate account. We had, a contractual agreement signed with Lifeworks. Our systems were pretty much live before we even started on social medias. In fact, when we started out, we opened a Telegram group. We did $800 or something like that worth of marketing. We did a few CMS trending posts, and we did a couple of small PooCoin ad runs. And the reason for that was so that we could raise enough early money, because the one piece that wasn't complete yet was a properly coded website. And, I was in a project in the past where the website was a constant source of trouble for us, because the person hosting the website was impossible to communicate with, and we couldn't get changes made to it. And so in this case, we had it coded and we hosted ourselves, so there's none of that nonsense. If there's a typo on the website or if information changes, we can change it that day. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, well said.
It's my first time.
Okay, that's really cool. So why while I was paying attention, you mentioned that for a start, just purchasing $50 worth of your token, should be enough to to enjoy some of these utilities. So I'm just curious to know, is there going to be a point whereby the price, you know the price or the amount of token one needs to purchase to to get these services? Is there a time when it's going to go up or come down? So I'm just curious to know that.
Well, no, we've done it based on market value. So obviously, when we first launch and on days of volatility, there's going to be a little bit of scrambling on our end, because we didn't set a token amount, because it would just have to change anyways to maintain that $50. And so we're going to be manually adjusting it at the $50 market value as we go along. That said, if somebody buys $50 worth of tokens and then, a few minutes later it's $49 and they're trying to stake, they just got to DM us and we'll manually upload them. There's no big deal there. It's just, no matter how we looked at it, there's going to be a little bit of maintenance going on at all times to keep the system balanced in that sense. But we've got an awesome dev, and so we're not too worried about that.
Okay, that's really cool. So another thing I'm curious about. So your real life utilities. So what is the plan to to extend these real life utilities to other regions that it has not gotten to at the moment? What is the plan to do that?
Lifeworks offers the gold package in 60 countries. So like I say, well, right now and at launch, we're live in Canada, the United States, and the United Kingdom, but they offer 60 other countries. And so what we'll be looking at is we'll be looking at where is our demographics within MiND token growing. What countries are most active in our group, and then we'll start onboarding other countries as we go. We can add another country with an email or a phone call, and by month's end it's live. And not only that, let's assume the best case scenario and MiND token just grows and grows and grows, and we fill those 60 countries. We still have options then as well, because we are a registered corporation, and so we can start looking at other parties who might service areas that Lifeworks doesn't have reach into yet. And so, if we get to a point where we can't grow any further with Lifeworks, and I mean, how awesome would that be? Then we would start reaching out to other providers and filling whatever gaps there are in that market.
Right, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.
It'll be a long time. I like lofty goals, so I mean,
yeah,
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, that's cool. So can you talk us through your tokenomics quickly?
Sure. We have a 6% buy and a 12% sell. Our buy tax is 1% to liquidity, 2% to operations, 1% to staking, and 2% to marketing. Our 12% sell is 2% to operations, 3% to marketing, 4% to staking, and 3% to liquidity. We've had a successful 50 BNB pre-sale or seed sale, sorry. And we're heading off now in the coming weeks for a 200 BNB pre-sale through DGEM Launchpad. So our starting diluted market cap, last I checked it, BNB has gone down a little bit, but last I checked it was around 195K. I would imagine right now we're probably sitting at 180, but I haven't looked at the markets this morning. That's going to leave us with approximately 30K in post-launch marketing monies. Right now we've still got about 7K in pre-launch marketing money, so I feel like we're in really good shape here.
Okay, that's really cool. So can you talk us through your current partnerships you have, and the one you're looking at?
Take us through which, sorry?
Partnership agreement, our staking and our NFTs.
Okay. So again, one of the things that makes us so scalable is that another project can, partner with us, and they can receive access to a staking system at a fraction of what it would cost them to develop themselves. And the cool thing about that is that it creates, if you've got a project with a great utility, but sometimes utility projects can take a while to roll things out and community needs things to do, then you can add a staking utility through our services. But not only that, your entire team gets onboarded onto the Lifeworks app as part of that process. We've also got a secondary partnership strategy for what we have dubbed non-token groups. And so places like AMA groups or channels like this can purchase NFTs off of us that have the Lifeworks utility tied to it, and we can start to make cross-promotional NFTs with public mints for their communities as well to get that utility out to people. That's one of the directions we're heading with the NFTs. We have several directions that we're heading with that. Another direction we're heading with NFTs is that we're looking at, if you look here, I got this, I'm showing off the shirt. I got it for Father's Day, so I got to show it off. But this is kind of a good representation of kind of modern First Nations art. It's kind of just got these cool themes about it. And, you got the West Coast fish and all that good stuff. Around here, this area was traditionally resource extraction based. We had logging, fishing, coal mining, on and on like that. And these industries have kind of petered out, and we've moved into a ridiculously inflationary housing market and tourism. And so a lot of people here, including a lot of the First Nations bands, are highly dependent on artisan and tourism to generate incomes from their families, generate incomes for their bands, and so on. And so we're going to be creating an NFT system whereby we're reaching out to some of these artists and bringing their work into the NFT market. And we're also going to tie charities into that. See, MiND token is the perfect theme token to run charities, but we didn't want that pressure on our charts. And so what we did is we conceptualized a system where we get these NFTs out in the market, and there's a royalty in that NFT that goes to a charity wallet. And because we're a corporation, as long as the charity is registered, we can pay them without any issues. And so we've got a really broad range. In fact, we've already it's a little outside the NFTs, but I'm going to plug it now. We've already sponsored a Canadian mental health nurse, Mitch Buxton, and he's riding his bike from Vancouver to Toronto, which is about 4,800 kilometers. And he's doing this to raise money and awareness for mental health in Canada. He's fully sanctioned by the Canadian Mental Health Association. He's raised over 10 grand so far. We've put our decaling on his chase car. And so he's getting lots of attention as he drives across the country. And it's a really cool thing. Like I say, I'm pretty proud of the fact that MiND Token was able to do something like that and retain 2 partners before we've even gone to launch. So that's really interesting stuff. But back to the NFTs. Sorry, I digress there. Back to the NFTs. Yeah, so we've got we're going to be looking for local to us artists to help guide through minting an NFT, promoting an NFT, generating royalties for themselves, their families, a little bit for MiND Token, and some to a charity. And then we've also got NFTs coming for our seed sailors because they're awesome and they got behind us, and it's always a risk. The biggest risk taken by investors is generally by the seed sailors because they don't know if a project's going to fly or not, and they just take that leap of faith. So to reward them, we're going to be minting groups of NFTs for them, and they'll be the only of those kind in the system. They'll be the first runs of MiND Token NFTs, and so hopefully in time that'll bring our early investors some really nice value. But the cool thing with the NFTs that we're aiming for, Stefan looks like he dropped out there, but that's okay, is that we're working towards an NFT wellness. We're working towards an NFT wellness game, and I don't want to get too much into that because conceptually, it's really original, but it's not difficult to build. And so it's something that could be front run and put to another application. And so we just want to be first with it. But it's basically it's a very calming concept where the end result of interacting with the game is that you're minting NFTs that are one-off and original to you. And so we think that's going to be a lot of fun. And then a long-term goal, leads more to the metaverse, where we talk about, and again, this stuff is purely in conceptualization stage, so don't hold me to anything on that. But we'd like to see a metaverse NFT gallery, but more so, we'd like to see something akin to wellness clinics. Now, the thing with us is that we're not therapists, we're not doctors. We are a corporation, we can be sued, and so we have to be very, very careful, not only ethically, because of the roles that we're in, but also from a litigation point of view, that we don't ever put ourselves into a place where we can get sued or get into trouble. And so there's certain things that we can facilitate and certain things we can't. So in a metaverse setting, we could facilitate things like Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, Narcotics Anonymous, group therapy supports, or therapy supports for people suffering from PTSD or spousal abuse. We can bring on therapists. As long as a person is a registered and accredited therapist, then we're able to facilitate that. When it comes to things like legal advice and doctors and so on, we wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole because it's just too dangerous for the business. You got to get me my MiND Token cup. Yeah, I said, bring it. Bring me my cup. Yeah, so there's multiple ways we're going with the NFTs, but the short and long of it is we've got our first run for the seed sailors, and then we've got our wellness game, and then we've got our charity local artisan aspect, and those are the more short-term ways that we're moving forward with NFTs.
That's right.
Okay, that's cool. So one more question from me before I start getting questions from the audience. So what's the marketing plans to ensure that you get more holders and more users of your token?
Okay, we brought on Conda Labs, and they're awesome. They have a lot of great connections in the space, and they know a lot of influencers and so on. And so they're going to be working with us pre and post launch. And again, we did change our tokenomic structure to raise the marketing power we have, both in our taxes and in what we keep from the public sales to move towards marketing. The strongest marketing that we're going to have, in my opinion, is going to be partnerships and partnership outreach. We're going to be setting bounties for community members who hook us up with other projects, whereas if if that introduction materializes into a partnership, they'll get paid for it. Pardon me. But what it amounts to is that every project that comes onto our systems and utilizes our staking services, their members are exposed to every other project in our system. And so we're looking to create, this massive network of projects who are utilizing our staking and then share cross promotions with them. And so, we would trade off AMAs. We might do some Twitter space stuff, or we'd have Twitter competitions together. We might mint, NFTs between the two projects and send them to public mint, and on and on and on. And especially when you go into a bear market, there's a lot of projects who right now are excellent projects, but they're kind of running out of money, especially if they didn't stable BNB. It's always a risk. And so, it's appealing for them as well, because not only do they offer this great utility to their communities, they get to lock up, their community locks up some of their supply in our staking systems, but they also get the cross promotional, effects of working with us and with other projects. And so to me, that partnership situation is absolutely crucial to us, and that's why we were scrambling. We already landed 2 before we even gone live. In fact, we're launching our staking for those projects before we go live, so that we can show the people who are sitting in the wings and considering us that, hey, this is functional, this works. And so I think we're probably one of the few projects that ever existed that put their utility out and let other projects use them before they even went to market. But that's not something that we're fearful of. This is a volume play. We want as many people as possible accessing these services, and that's why we've kept the price points for it so low. So when you look at our 12-month pool, there's no cap on it. Whales can add however much they want, get their 150% APY, but we've also left the window open for the smaller players, where they can stake the $50 and get the utility behind it.
Okay, that's really good. That's really cool. Thanks, Kamonkey. If you don't mind, we can start getting questions from the audience.
Certainly.
Okay, let's get some questions from the audience.
I saw one hand up earlier, but it went down.
Starts with Smash Copper. You're allowed to speak. Ask a question, Copper.
I don't even see them. I see Neo is asking to ask a question, and I see Philadelphia. Philadelphia.
Hello.
Hey, man.
Hey, buddy.
Did you have a question?
No, we can't hear you.
I don't know. They might be lagging or something. Their profile picture just disappeared. That's kind of weird.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, there you are.
All right. I'd like to commend you guys for such an amazing project invention, as it were. Earlier, you talked about that you are not docs, neither are you KYC, and that you are a corporation, as it were. So, in which company are you incorporated?
We're incorporated in Canada, and we are docs. My name is Ed Curvan, and that's Stefan Varem. But we're also KYCing with Anondocs. We just started that process.
All right.
Yeah.
So, what are your legal frame structure that helps to minimize the losses along the way? Because now you're dealing with humanity directly.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
I
right.
do
That's been a
believe that there
really
should be some legal framework to guide the corporation.
Legal framework to guide the corporation. Well, we do have FinTrack laws in Canada that definitely apply to us. And we've also got a 15 or 17 page contractual agreement with Lifeworks that very clearly lays out what we're able to do and what we're not. In fact, they adapted the contract to our purposes because it did not fit the same. We did not fit in the same mold as other corporations who work with them. So they adapted the contract so that it spelled out very specifically what we're able to do with their services and what we aren't. So we don't really have too many concerns there because we're staying within the parameters of our contract.
That's right. And at the end of the day, they carry all the legal responsibilities in the different
Right.
countries that we provide the services, because it's a service that we purchased from them, and they're a publicly trading multi-million-dollar corporation being purchased currently by TELUS.
Yeah, they had a $700 million revenue last year, and they're currently under purchase for $2.3 billion.
All right, that's clear. So in a situation where I'm not resident in Canada and I need a kind of physical attention, as it were, how do you provide such help?
Okay, so the EAP services through Lifeworks are live for us now in Canada, the United States, and the United Kingdom. However, there are 60 countries where the full services are offered. So it kind of depends where in the world you are in that respect. However, the mental health services are global. So if you have an internet connection, you can access the mental health services and probably the fitness stuff as well. It's legal and telemedicine that has to be rolled out country by country. So we started with Canada, the United States, and the UK. We would have liked to do more, but keep in mind that we pay for these subscriptions out of pocket right now. And, you know, we've paid for everything pretty well so far. And so once we get through launch, then we're going to be looking at our demographics and seeing where our largest user bases that don't have the services are, and we'll be basing where we add that gold package, what countries we add that gold package to based on that.
Amazing.
And again, given that we're a corporation, if there is an area that Lifeworks doesn't service, but there is a telehealth provider, because we're a corporation, we're able to reach out to them and make agreements with them as well. You know, there's no competition stuff in our contract, so we can bring on other providers. You know, in fact, we've already been thinking about an addiction services provider and so on. So there's lots of different directions we can go with that. It's just that Lifeworks offers such a, you know, they're the largest global wellness company. They offer the biggest bang for your buck, and so, you know, that's why we started off there. And just the fact, you know, it's, for us, it's an honor that we started with the top company and they took us. You know, it just shows that, you know, we were able to present ourselves in an awesome way to them that they received well. So yeah, we're pretty happy with that.
All right, that's amazing.
That's great. And then
Do you provide?
Oh, sorry. Let me just quickly add to that. For accessing the services, when you onboard with the Lifeworks app, so once you've staked and you've got you've put in your email, you get onboarded to the app. When you onboard to Lifeworks, you fill out what country you're in, and then your feed changes for the country that you're in. So your link and your access and your phone numbers, they're all for wherever you're located.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you. So do you partner with charities, organization that deals with this, with mental health and mind wellness?
Right now, we're not partnered with anyone other than Lifeworks in that respect. However, given that we're a corporation, we can. And so when we get to the charity aspect, you know, we're able to send money from a corporate bank account to their corporate bank accounts, you know, including tax receipts and all that good stuff. And so the framework is there where, you know, and we've seen other charity projects run into this issue where they get all this money for charity, but if they don't, the charities that they want to give to don't do crypto. And frankly, they're scared of crypto. They don't want to do crypto. And so, you know, we're able to, you know, send charity funds to our corporate Coinbase account and from there into our corporate bank account and actually use the proper channels for charity donations. And so, that's one of the bonuses of being a corporation.
All right, thank you. So I understood your project to be the type that is bringing people into the crypto space, people who have no idea or are not aware or have zero education on crypto. So what is your do you have any framework to educate people who need your services but are not into crypto? They know nothing about crypto. They have no idea about crypto.
Yeah, we do have a plan with that, but it basically skips the education part. And so again, because we're a corporation, we can get away with different things that other projects would have struggles with. But you're giving me an echo there. So basically, what it amounts to is that I'll just use this example because it works. A project that I was in a long time ago, they created a gig economy website, and they wanted to use their native token for buys and sells within that gig economy. And they ran into major regulatory issues where the SEC and other governing bodies were like, look, you just can't do it this way. You can't use your crypto as a main base of payment in this gig economy system. And so what they did is they brought on a third party. And this is similar to what we're looking at for that solution, where the third party would accept fiat, market buy tokens, auto stake, and then give that user the onboarding system to get into Lifeworks through MiND token. And so then on the way out, it would go in the reverse. And that third party is going to take a cut, and frankly, they're not cheap, but it absolves us from regulatory pressures, and it moves any potential liabilities with a system like that to that third party provider. And so, but again, yeah, you're going to pay a little more going that way, but your ease of access is going to be much higher. And when you look at the actual market value of these services that don't go through a corporation like ours, like this sold directly to the public, it's tenfold in cost. And so to pay an extra $5 or $10 to a third party to access these services versus the hundreds of dollars you're going to pay if you go directly to another competitor's website and buy a private service, the value is still absolutely massive. So that's one of the ways that we can move into the fiat market or into the retail market and bypass that big educational process because it's tricky. Another way would be, and is to tokenize it through NFT sales and create an NFT marketplace. But we're still in that regulatory compliance gray area, using fiat to purchase NFTs and then having to deal with blockchain stuff. And so we would go the first route most likely with the app and the third party.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Mark. I hope it's okay if I ask more question.
No,
Ask away, man.
It's okay. It's okay, Neo. Let's get.
All right. Thank you very much, Mark.
Let's get a question from someone else. Thanks, Neo. Let's get a
Thanks,
question
Neil.
from Philadelphia.
No, their hands down now. I think I saw Caesar Spider.
Caesar, you can ask a question.
Oh, Maxwell, he's there too. I've been talking to Maxwell.
Have you?
Yeah, we're at final.
Oh, yeah.
finals.
Yeah, I see it.
Nothing from
Caesar,
Caesar.
can you ask a question? Move to Maxwell.
Let's try H2O.
Oh, we got Maxwell here.
Oh, sorry.
Ask. Yeah.
Maxwell, you can ask a question.
Hey man, how you doing, guys? Can I?
Good. How you doing, man?
Oh yeah.
Good,
So
how are you?
okay. I'm doing great. It's nice being on your AMA, guys. Hello, Stefan. How you doing, buddy?
Good. I'm glad we're finally chatting.
Oh yeah, cool stuff. Oh yeah. So my question now was gonna be about your NFTs. I wanted to know does these NFTs come in different varies? If there's a difference in them, that's having a exclusive one and then normal one, because I see that your NFTs gives access to the Lifeworks EAP, and also about the access to the US telemedicine. So I would just wanted to know about the US telemedicine also for those in different parts of the country. If I was to be in Africa and all, how do I actually get access to that, or do you have plans on spreading that widely to other parts of the country soon?
I'll let Ed touch on that. He's good at that question.
Okay, it was two parts, and I gapped out the first part, but I'm sure it'll click. Um, Again, LifeWorks offers the full gold package in 60 countries, and so it's not going to be all of Africa. It's going to be you know, larger centers of Africa, probably South Africa, Nigeria, places like that. Um, right now, we're live in 3 countries: Canada, the UK, and the USA. For the full package. There are 60 countries in total that LifeWorks offers these services to, and so one by one we can expand that reach. But like I said before, because we're a corporation, if we find that there's an area that has a large demographic of people wanting these services, we can start to look at their local providers and make arrangements with them as well. So we're not completely beholden to the one system. We can expand from that point. That said, LifeWorks is the largest player in this space. And so it would take quite a long time for us to, get past LifeWorks. I mean, I, I don't know that we'd ever be bigger than LifeWorks, but if we were, then it would be amazing.
Yeah,
or that our reach was bigger than
Okay.
LifeWorks' reach.
it would be a life
We,
dream.
we can't be bigger than LifeWorks. They're 56 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what was the other part of that question? I feel like I'm missing part of that.
Oh yeah, so the other part of the question was about your telemedicine, which your NFTs
Oh yeah.
sorry,
Okay.
which your NFTs give access to. Okay.
So there will be some NFTs that will give access to these services, but we're utilizing them through what we've dubbed non-token groups, so AMA groups and places like that, where they have large communities, they have large staffing teams, but they don't have a token, and so we're not able to onboard them onto our staking systems. And so we're going to utilize, as part of our NFT systems, kind of a dual mint where we've got the AMA group and MiND token combine art, make an NFT, and then each member of their staff will get an NFT that represents 12 months of the telemed and everything else. And then their community is able to purchase those collaborative NFTs and utilize those to onboard through our DApp on the front, our Web3 DApp, to be onboarded into LifeWorks.
That's right. And then as for the
Oh yeah,
growth
oh
of
yeah.
our
Okay.
NFT system from there, we are planning our works with charities and local artists, and we're gonna add some things to those. Like there'll probably be some NFTs that have swag attached to them.
Okay,
Some other things that
Stefan, I'm really sorry. You're going to have to carry this for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Just so people hear, my dog is paralyzed and injured, and he is crying. So I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I have to check him out.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll have down the road, shortly after launch, we'll probably be working with charitable NFTs that'll be attached to specific charities that are in conjunction with the partnerships that we are forming. So in essence, Snafu is our first partner that we have coming on board with our staking here in a few days. We'll create an NFT with them, and they choose their charitable donation, and we create the NFT and probably attach some MiND swag to it, so whoever buys it ends up getting something cool too.
Oh yeah, so great stuff. About your mug. When I saw it on your Telegram group, I said, oh wow, it looks great, and it can also be a form of marketing for you guys. If you want to create more of those mugs and just put it out to stores, I really think to be like another source of marketing. Oh
There, that right there. There's my source of the mugs.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm printing them as we got. I'm printing off stuff almost as we speak. I have to. Once this is done, I'm weeding a whole bunch of vinyl and getting them put on mugs, and I got some shirts I'm doing. I've got a bunch of decals that I'm doing for vehicles. Yeah, you'll see it all coming in the group soon.
Oh yeah, so nice stuff. I really think this project has a lot of potential in it, and it's been nice chatting with you, Stefan. Thanks, Mark. Lovely
Yeah,
community. Oh yeah.
thanks for your questions, Max.
Thanks, Maxwell. Let's get a last question from Caesar. Caesar, you can ask a question now.
Um, hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Yes, we can.
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Well, I listened extensively to what you guys said, but my Telegram have been lagging, so I know I've missed quite a few. So, I'm gonna make my question to be brief, and being that I went to your website and I saw that our project has lots of potentials, and I really like the features of the project. It's quite astounding. But to continue with my question, like my questions goes to NFTs, because I'm a big fan of NFT and I love NFTs because I know how much I've earned from NFTs. But um I don't know whether someone have asked this question though, but I want to know, like, I want you guys to speciate more on what you guys mean by charity NFT, like, being, like, in terms of boarding a charity NFT. What do you guys mean by that?
Oh, onboarding. Essentially, so what we've created is our marketplace. When you connect your wallet to our marketplace, it's going to look at your wallet, and if you hold one of our a specific NFT that we're minting, it's going to allow you a button that you click to onboard put your email in to onboard. I did share with Mr. Carter a sample of what our DApp looks like for the staking. It's essentially looks the same for it will
Same thing.
look the same for the NFT. If Mr. Carter wants to drop that in the group, I don't know if he's able to.
It's just a basic pop-up window that when you complete your stake or when you connect to Web3 and that NFT is present, that it just opens up and you can put your email in there. That email gets forwarded to Stefan, and then it gets forwarded again through a CSV file off to Lifeworks. We're actually working on automating that. And that's one thing I'd like to mention too while we're at it, is that we've kept things anonymous on the MiND token side. Like, most companies inside of the feed that I showed on the screencast earlier have an employee directory where it shows everybody on the team. And we had that removed because crypto likes its anonymity. And so when you use Lifeworks, these are legitimate doctors and therapists. You will be doxing yourselves to them, just like you would when you went to a doctor or an in-person therapist or a lawyer or what have you. However, from our perspective, all we see is your email, if we see it at all. And so unless you've got an old email like mine that actually has your name in it, because that's what we did in the before time, back with the dinosaurs and that, you know, we don't know who you are. And we did that very intentionally. And again, Lifeworks was really nice to go in and, they've done a few really cool things. They rolled back their code so that our onboarding systems would be easier for us to create. And so they're actually using a different onboarding process for us than they use for other companies, which was pretty special. And they removed that directory and allowed anonymity within their platform for our systems. And so it's just a nice balance between, the real utility, and you can still be in crypto and keep your anonymity.
Okay, that's very cool. That's very cool. For me not to waste much time here, I have a bunch of questions I want to ask, but I think I'm going to hop into a Telegram into a group. So
Yeah.
I would like you guys to clarify me more on
Sure.
some few things. Thank you very much, guys.
Pop in the group and ask your questions in the
Thanks,
group, and
thanks,
we'll
Caesar.
answer them right
Thanks,
publicly.
Caesar.
I have no problem with
Yep.
that.
Anytime. Yeah.
There's a question from Faith.
Hello.
Hey, Faith.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Can you please talk to me about okay, you are planning to have an NFT place in which we're going to connect our wallets to. What is the level of security? How secure is the platform you're about curating? You know, an investor wants to be careful and concerned about the security of the project is investing to.
Okay. Well, our front end developer who creates the Web3 dApp connection is a true friend of mine. I've been trading with him for years. Same with our contract developer. You know, these are people that I know. We share pictures of our kids to each other and stuff. We plan vacations together and things. So not overly concerned about that. We are going to be audited by Safeton. But I think you're probably concerned about your questions in relation to Web3 connection on the dApp, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I mean, like I say, our dApp developer, this is what he does for a living. And
That's
so
right.
I
We're
have
hosted we're also hosted with a global company. Our
yeah,
dApp's hosted with Amazon or ACS, I do believe.
AWS. Yeah.
AWS.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, I know that Web3 connections can be scary for people because of permissions, but there's no permissions being given other than to view. So, you know, that's where the risk is when you give permissions to Web3 that you're not paying attention to. But you know, none of that'll be there. So I'm not sure how else it could be exploited other than giving permissions.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Let's get a question from Calvin.
Sure.
Okay, can you hear me, sir?
You bet.
Okay.
You got a question, bro?
Okay, sir. My question: How long did you work per day to develop the project, MiND token, and what's the community meant to you? How do you intend to build a strong community? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Well, like I say, you know, we were in development for months and months and months before we even opened a Telegram or a Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or anything. Before we even came out to the public, we already had our contracts pretty well complete. We had our Lifeworks partnership complete. We were live in 3 countries. You know, we really brought this utility into fruition before we even told anybody about it. So, I mean, you know, we've grown completely organically. There are no bots. There are no deleted accounts. You know, we clean up the group on a regular basis. Everybody you see in there is real. Our user rates are really high. We had 82 online at one time. We had 25% interaction. You know, so our group is very real, and we're proud of that. As far as growing the group, you know, again, partnerships. You know, we're looking at 30 to 40 grand before marketing tax kick in that we're able to market with pre and post launch. And so, you know, our communities and our community got behind us. You know, we filled a 50 B&B sale with very little marketing, primarily word of mouth and a few AMAs and a little bit of PootCoin ad, some Reddit posts. And so, you know, we've been really well received in the space. We've had some great promotions happen directly from our community that really didn't involve us. It was kind of a surprise. And so, yeah, we're building a really nice, tight little family in there. So, yeah, we're having fun with that.
Okay,
and what do they mean to me? They are the project.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Without the
without
community.
them, we're doing nothing. So
I don't know who's here right now from our community, but if there is anybody, it Mondays are usually busy.
Okay, thank you, sure. Good luck to project.
thank you.
Okay, thanks, Calvin. Okay, I think that'll be all for question for today. So if you can, leave the investors here with some final words, that'll be really nice.
All right. Well, we are hoping to launch around the middle of next month. We're not really concerned if the market's going up and down so much as it being stable. As I say, we've had all of our tokenomics gone over by some serious experts. We really expect that we have a beautiful launch. You know, our developers are both really close to me on a personal level. My partner here is a real life friend who, in some of our AMAs, he's sitting right there. We're fully public. We have a registered corporation. It's easy enough to look up. We're being audited. We're being KYC'd. We've got an amazing marketing team in Conda Labs who has a 100% pre-sale fill success rate. And that puts us in a really good footing. And they're
DGEM is
really,
our launch pad.
yeah. So, I mean, we're making the right connections. We've got 2 fully confirmed staking partners who will be live in the coming days for their tokens to start staking on our systems, even though we're not live yet.
That's right. Snafu and Itanagi. I'd
Yeah,
recommend looking up both of them.
you should.
They're
You
both
should.
great groups. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we're just we're a year in the making, right? Like this isn't something that just fell off a truck and now we're putting it out there, and it's not like a lot of the projects where they have this awesome idea and then they go to launch and they get all this hype and then nothing ever happens. We're live. This is ready to go. I mean, we're going to be adding countries shortly after launch. And we've got a lot of great directions that we can head with our NFT systems. We got a lot of great networking potentials with our partnership systems. We're going to inevitably end up with some very serious real world media coverage because of our donation systems and because we're a legitimate corporation. I think there's a lot of really positive things to look forward to in this system. And, not only that, it does something positive in the space that's real and tangible. And I think that, given the hype cycle that we've just been through, I think a lot of investors are feeling like, now is the time to be looking at utilities. And I agree because, the people who build through these bears, these are the projects that are going to go nuts when the bulls come back, and so I'm super positive, and if you guys have any follow-up questions, come up and join up in our group and ask away. The beautiful thing about a project like ours is that there's no question I don't have an answer to, and you can ask us anything. So
Yeah.
come and do it.
And we've done a lot of research. We've done a lot of research when it came to bringing out this project and started a lot of different facets that we'll slowly work on over the next year, which not a lot of projects can say that. A lot of projects that I've seen are coming in and their main goal is getting their first utility off the ground. We just want to spread our wings now.
Yeah. And again, if you look through our tokenomics and go through the white paper and all that good stuff, it's really, really obvious that this is not a cash grab. I mean, our pay is 1% in volume apiece out of this entire system. We'll end up with a little bit of income from project onboarding, but most of that's going to go back into buy and burn systems for the token. We're incentivized to work. If we want to, if Stefan and I are ever driving Lambos from this project, it's because we've hit hundreds of millions of daily volume. You know what I mean? We're incentivized to be here. We're not going to make, $100,000 on launch day and then ride off into the sunset. We have this set up so that people can see that we're here to do this. So I think on that note, we're pretty good.
And for me, a Lambo is a lofty goal. I'd hurt my back.
I wouldn't even buy one. I buy like a Supra for the price of an oil change on a Lambo. Thank you, but
That's right.
well, maybe not Supras. They're expensive now. A Subaru of some kind, probably WRX, maybe.
Oh, that's really cool, really cool. It's been a pleasure having you guys here.
Thank
It's
you.
been a great AMB.
No,
I appreciate you having us.
you having us. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon.
You bet.
Have a great day.
You too, guys. Be well.
You too.
Thanks for coming out.
Cheers.
Okay, bye-bye.
Has he stopped the recording or?